Hi, my name is Carissa, and I have PCOS. As you may or may not know, women with PCOS often suffer from hirsutism, or excess hair growth in areas where hair normally wouldn't grow. And it can be embarrassing, and it can really affect your self-esteem. I'm going to tell you a few ways that you can kind of work around that and deal with it in a way that's not very invasive, hopefully not too painful, and that makes you feel confident despite having excess hair, specifically on your face. If you do have any excess hair growth on your body, I would strongly urge you to look into having it professionally waxed. That's what I will also recommend for excess hair growth on your face in areas where it grows thicker and darker. So just for example, I have hair that grows between my eyebrows, above my eyebrows in a triangular shape, and connects to my hairline. So I basically have a sweatband of hair that grows on my face. I manage that by waxing it regularly, but I'm professionally trained and I did take classes to become an esthetician, and I do know how to wax. I really do not recommend you buying an at-home waxing kit without knowing exactly how to do it properly, especially because there are things like medications or topical creams or face washes that can contain acne-fighting products like salicylic acid, things of that nature that can cause your skin to be very thin and crepey, and you can rip off sections of your skin and scar yourself. So even without the acne treatments or medications that can make your skin more sensitive, waxing can be dangerous, and if it's not done properly, you can really cause problems for yourself, and you don't want to do that on your face. So I would definitely recommend going to a professional and getting yourself waxed, and make sure that you feel comfortable with the facility where you're going. Make sure it's really clean and sterile, and they do a thorough check of the different types of medications and beauty products that you use. Another technique that you can have done professionally is threading. And threading is where a series of strings are run across the face in a pattern to remove the hair from areas such as your eyebrows or your chin, or places where you have thicker, darker hairs that you're self-conscious about. Both of these methods are excellent for hair removal, especially the kind of hair that grows darker and thicker than, like, say, the peach fuzz hair on your face, because it's pulling it out by the root, and every time it does, it's weakening that root, and the follicle sometimes can just dry up and not produce hair any longer. These techniques are great because what they're doing is pulling the hair out by the root, and that is ideal. When you do that, you weaken the follicle and you weaken the base of where the hair grows, and it can over time dry up and not produce hair any longer. So it's well worth doing these methods for those darker, thicker hairs on your face. Now, what I will tell you is that one product that I do not recommend is depilatory cream. Creams like Nair, for example, that you would apply to your face. There are some that are made specially for your face that you apply topically, wait, and let them sort of burn the hair off at the surface level. This is a chemical that you're applying to your face that you can have a reaction to without realizing. You can do patch tests to see if you're allergic in any way, like on the back of your neck or on your wrist. However, you still don't get a true understanding of how it will affect your face, and the skin on your face can be different from those areas and react very differently. I don't like the idea of putting a chemical on my face that has that burning sensation like that and makes my skin as sensitive as it is afterwards. And I don't have very sensitive skin. Another thing is, you're really only supposed to leave it on for so long. So I'm not really sure, I don't remember, but they say no longer than 6 minutes. I've noticed that it only takes away about half the hair, sometimes less than half. So it doesn't really feel worth all of the stinging and burning and discomfort and the smell to not get rid of all the hair. You really should not exceed the amount of time recommended to use the product. You're not using it properly, and you're definitely setting yourself up for some potential issues. So the smell of these creams is probably one of the least attractive parts of it, because no matter how well you try to wash your face after using them, that smell does take a while to dissipate, and it's very unpleasant. It's one of the least effective methods of hair removal, in my opinion, and frankly one of the more dangerous ones. You don't want those chemicals near your eye or your mouth. It's really not worth it. Now, one thing I will tell you, which may shock you, is that you can shave your face. Yes. Now, this is really a method that I think that you should use sparingly and in between treatments for example, in between appointments for waxing, and only really when you definitely need it, just as a little like emergency spot treatment. I wouldn't recommend every day doing like a hot lather barber shave to your face. And I'm not talking about using razors, like not using like a Lady Bic on your mouth. I'm talking about using a product like this, and these are the Dell Brow Trim and Shape razors. This is a 3-pack that I picked up at Target. I'll show you what they look like. It is a plastic stick that has a cap on the end, and when you remove that, you expose a razor on one side, okay? And you're supposed to use this in the direction of the hair growth very lightly, and what it will do is remove the hair at the surface and just give you kind of a nice clean surface for applying your makeup and your moisturizers and things without having that hair on your face for that particular day. It will grow back because you're only cutting it off at the surface. It will grow back pretty quickly, so it usually is safe to do between waxing treatments because you're not removing the hair entirely, and you'll still have enough for the wax to grip onto and pull off. What I like to use this for is, say it's like date night with my husband and I don't want him to lean in for a kiss and see hair on my lip, but I don't have time to wax, or I don't want the redness on my face from waxing. I will just, after the shower, make sure that I have a clean face. I will just shave off those little hairs in that one section they're in. This is a tiny little detail razor. I don't recommend just going across your whole face with this. That's not the point of it. Now, I do have the places where I tend to have the most trouble, other than my eyebrows, is my upper lip, this section underneath my lip, for some reason only this side of my chin right here. And I do, on both sides of my face, have a very light patch of hair right here. It's not dark hairs, but it's thicker and much hairier than the rest of my face right there, as well as on the tops of my cheekbones over here. So that's what I will use something like this for, because I don't want to wax these delicate areas on my face, and this is just a nice thing to do on occasion to kind of lighten up the load of hair that's going on my face. But you do want to be careful, and you do want to use these, you know, in a safe way. Don't go against your hair because it can catch and cut your skin. Now, a lot of people say shaving makes your hair grow back darker. That is not true. It doesn't make your hair grow back thicker. It doesn't make it darker. All it's doing is cutting it off at the surface. So, for example, when you wax and you pull the hair out by the root, when it grows back, it comes out with the end of the hair first, so it's finer and it's at a point. It's a very small end of the hair, and then the rest of it grows out. When you shave a hair, you're cutting it off at the thickest point, so when it comes out, the end is more blunt and it's at that thick point that it was at the surface of your skin. So it just appears a little bit more bristly, a little bit more firm. But in the case of these baby fine hairs that I have here that grow in black, that I want to get rid of, if I shave them off, even at their thickest point, they're still very, very fine, and it doesn't do much to the appearance of them. I have been shaving the hairs off of my face with a little tool like this for many years without any trouble. I don't have a big old beard growing underneath my eye, so it's perfectly fine to do on occasion. Like I said, you know, if you've got a date night, or if you're going to be out in the sun with a bunch of your friends and you don't want them to see all that extra hair, this is a nice thing to do just kind of in between as a touch-up. These are created, I first saw these when I went to Japan when I was 14, and I remember thinking, oh, why do they make razors for your face? And since I've started seeing them in the States, a lot of women will use them like in between their eyebrows or in areas where there's extra hair to kind of clean up around. I don't necessarily recommend them for that use, but you certainly can try. That's what they're designed to do. So that is everything for hair removal that I have learned that I would recommend, or that I would suggest that you look into if you do suffer from this issue. You do certainly also have the option of getting these hairs lasered, but laser treatments do tend to be expensive, and you have to do several sessions for them to be effective. So it's a very large commitment that you would be making, and that's something that you would definitely want to look into and research before jumping in. If you have any questions for me, please let me know. You can comment below and I will certainly get back to you. But just know, like I said, you are beautiful and this excess hair is nothing, because when it comes down to it, what people see from this distance, you can't see all my hairs on my, I wonder if I should try to show you. Should I try to show you? Let's see. I don't even think you can see. But we're up real close here. And it's not that noticeable. So please don't be that worried about having the excess hair on your face. Most of the time, you would have to mention it to someone before they even notice it. Thank you so much for watching. As I said, if you have questions for me, please leave them below. And thank you very much for watching.